Welcome back to the Daily Rundown with me, Dan Morfitt, and my guests, Tosh and Kaye. Virgin Trains has questioned footage showing Jeremy Corbyn sitting on the floor of a ram-packed service. In a film shown on the Guardian website, the Labour leader said he was experiencing a problem many passengers face every single day on the London to Newcastle train. But Virgin said that CCTV footage showed that Mr Corbyn and his team walked past available seating before filming started. It says that the crew helped him to a carriage where seats were available and he sat on a normal chair for the rest of the journey. According to the Guardian's reports last week, the footage of the Labour leader was taken by a freelance filmmaker who volunteers for his campaign. So Corbyn versus Virgin, has it really come to this?
I mean, I tell you what, this one had me actually shouting at social media yesterday going, get a grip, people, because August is notorious for being political twaddle time. But
it's a slow news month.
Yeah, but this really takes the biscuit. Nobody comes out of this well. But I have to say on this one, Mr Corbyn's team really set him up for this because they put out this footage of him sitting on the floor and going, and was sort of to put it, yes, it'll be strong. It's the whole, yes, I am a man of the people. I feel your pain.
Let's renationalise.
Yes, yeah, it was all of that. All of that. Yes, I've renationalised things because I'm on the floor. Okay. So then, then there were Twitter memes saying this is leadership. He's sitting on the floor. No, it's not leadership. You're just a guy sitting on the floor.
So is it up there with Martin Luther King and the Million Man March?
It is so. He is so not Rosa Parks. Really not. It's because the thing is that he constantly sets himself up for these falls, because here we are, we're talking about this. Instead of him, today he was supposed to be making a big NHS policy announcement, but because they were doing these dippy stunts, that he ends up in these situations.
I love that phrase, dippy stunt. Drew, is it a dippy stunt?
I love a dippy stunt every now and again.
Thank God you said that right.
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, instinct would say yes, it probably is. But there's a little part of me thinks that more often than not his intentions are good. His intentions are sort of as honourable as any of the rest of them. I think the thing that frustrates me is that the one time the Labour Party needed to come together to show unity in the face of a not united Tory party was now, and they're just fighting amongst themselves as usual.
It's like children playing.
It is like children playing, and it just makes you just not want to. I mean, I'm not surprised that young people just don't want to vote because they just don't like any of them, and it's difficult because on the one hand I'm thinking the trains are awful. They are overcrowded, they are not particularly clean, they're always late, they're incredibly expensive, and you don't get much value for money. So anything that might draw attention to that is probably a good thing, and obviously he wants to renationalise the industry anyway. So, what better way to do that? I think that's probably more what might have been in the PR's mind.
That's not been the story now, because the story's turned into Corbyn versus Virgin.
That might have been what the story was intended to be, but they overshot the runway now, and it's just a case of, I think it is looking like he's man of the people, which I don't think that's probably what he meant it to be.
But now Virgin are in trouble because they've released the CCTV pictures of him on the train.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and also I think that is actually an important point, that also that certainly goes against data protection, and that's really not what CCTV is there for, is to kind of settle a spat between Richard Branson and Mr Corbyn. But nevertheless, it's like the Corbyn's team didn't go in strong on that. What they went with was, well, there were bags on the seats and there were some kids so you couldn't see them because they were too short, and you go, if you can't ask someone to move some bags, you can't be Prime Minister. It's that easy. It's like, it seems to be slightly overstating the case, but that's what's in the public's mind. And I think absolutely there are, in amongst the policy, there's some very popular things that constantly renationalising the rail network comes up as a popular policy. But the trouble is, when they try and do something sensible to highlight that, like they tried to do in January when the then one of the shadow transport secretaries had set up a whole event just to highlight rocketing fares, that she was undermined by, on the same day, unbeknownst to her, suddenly Corbyn started his reshuffle, and so all of that weeks of preparation was put out of the window. That's why she resigned, not part of any sort of coup,
just like
but
Labour.
just going, oh, for God's sake, it's like we had a plan here and you stuffed it up. And I think that's where the frustration is kind of coming from. And I know that's the frustration that I feel with it. You know, it's going, there is plenty of good ideas here. So, I support his idea of a national education service, for instance, but you start to go, but I don't believe that you can get it together to do any of this stuff. That's what's communicated.
There's also some talk on social media that the Great British team were flying back from Rio, a triumphant team flying back on a British Airways flight. However, on all the front pages yesterday, it was Virgin ahead of British Airways. So it's all a PR world, and we've all been sucked into it, haven't we?
Although there was also pictures about them coming back and landing at Heathrow, wherever it was, and no one could get their baggage.
all the bags looked the
because they were
same.
all exactly the same. So that's the story that stuck with me.
Could you imagine waiting at that carousel?
Oh, they're probably still there now.
Bless them. Yeah. They waited all that time for gold medals and then they're still there right now. Let's move on to our next story, which is about social media. Twitter has announced a new quality filter, which is designed to allow users to deal with trolls and abusive posts more easily. The new feature should be available in the next coming days. Twitter's aim is to give users more control of what is posted about them, and this comes after the site was criticised for taking down Rio 2016 related tweets since the Olympic Games began, claiming it was a breach of copyright of all things. So have Twitter acted too quickly on copyright issues and too slowly on abuse? Drew?
Totally, they should have been doing something about this ages ago. I can't actually believe they're making a big deal about putting these new things in place to stop trolling, or you be able to ignore trolling a bit more easily, because it probably took them about 10 minutes to be able to work out how to do it. I don't know, there must have been a reason why they haven't done it sooner.
Some people have had these tools, but they're high-end users, celebrities, people with the verified blue tick. What's changed now is that everybody can have a verified blue tick, so everybody can have the same ability to mute their name, get rid of trolls, and that's what's happening across the board with Twitter.
Well, I think what the dilemma has been is that it's between the thing that makes Twitter its most attractive thing about its platform is that it does open up new worlds and new types of conversations with people that you've never met before, and that's one of its chief attractions and benefits and why people use it. But it's the Achilles heel, because that also allows the interaction that people don't want. And I think that's been the dilemma for them, is that equally, any time that they start to go in this direction, they're also equally accused of cracking down on free speech. And so I think there's quite a lot of things that have been difficult to tease out, both with it technically. It's one thing to take down tweets to do with the Olympics, because it's very clear what they are, and they were very clear what those infringements were, and it's another debate entirely if you think that's a good idea. But it's another thing, it's also to interpret what people think is abuse and also not go overboard with it. I think that's the dilemma they've had.
We've had MPs say that they've had death threats because people have said, get in the sea. And an MP went, this person wants me to walk into the water and drown. It's like, no, get in the sea is not a death threat. Little stupid things like that, isn't it?
Do you not think, though, that the whole social media thing, particularly things like Twitter, is going to implode? So many people are on it, there's so much white noise on there. I mean, I don't really deal with it that much, but I know people who spend their whole day just scrolling down endless messages. They're not reading most of them, they're not reading probably any of them, so therefore the message you might be trying to get across as a platform is probably going to get lost anyway. I think there's just too much of it now, and there's too many people doing it. It's overcrowded, and I just think something else either take its place, or it's just going to, I don't know, self-destruct a little bit.
Maybe that's the problem with Twitter. Maybe its time has been and gone, because the growth of Twitter is actually slowing down. I use it for dissemination of information, things that interest me. I follow this one person at Kaye, and he puts up really interesting articles on there.
Does he?
Really interesting articles. But then if I say something,
He
to
wasn't here
Loz,
tonight.
I'm not going to troll him. But, you know, every third tweet between random people that you know is, oh, you smell, or you're an idiot, or yeah, get in the sea, and stuff like that.
I just ask, what does get in the sea mean?
It means it's rubbish, it's stupid, it's...
There's another reason why I hate it. What a stupid phrase. Can't we just talk the language that we're taught at school? People can't spell, they can't speak, they can't add up. There's social media's legacy for you.
There you are, these young people. No,
I love it when old Drew comes out.
It's true though. I mean, God, there was a national spelling bee that had to take place for you to get, I don't know, a mortgage or a passport or something. No one would be able to do anything. No one can spell anymore. I mean, it's terrible. It's just, and these sort of like the characters you get, however many it is, it's just completely destroying the language.
I think that there's a lot of. I think there are a lot of great positive things that also social media still gets used for, and it's in terms of linking people up. But I think there is a genuine case. I think you're not far wrong in that it's reaching a crisis point. And it's partly to do with the white noise, and but also and I think that the kind of the abuse issue has been taking over, but also
I think they've
just
had to do that though, because
yeah.
it's had so much bad press. Twitter would have been forced to do something eventually because it's in the news all the time.
Well, I think what they've tried some various kind of high profile type stunts. So it's also particularly because I think one of the really important things to deal with is actually to do with power, and that's not just an internet or social media thing, but it's also when there are kind of very high profile users and people like kind of @Nero, as he was on Twitter, Milo Yiannopoulos from Breitbart, who would actually corral his many followers into harassing people in particular.
Almost en masse.
Yeah, absolutely. And also he was very, very unceremoniously chucked off Twitter. And this was I think this was kind of a high profile scalp, and just more to send, but also I think more to send out the message that we are doing something.
It's if you have to police it, then you worry about the end user as well. If you want to troll us, you can do @The Daily Rundown. We will accept trolling because it shows that you love us in a way. It's time for another break now. Go to make the trip to the smallest room in the house, or send that tweet that you've been meaning to do. And we'll see you again in a couple of minutes' time with news on cannabis arrests and becoming a Kiwi. Loads more to come on the Daily Rundown after the break here on Channel 7.